Hey everybody, it's Lisa Campion here. Um, just wanted to bring my little psychic mini class into class number 3. So today I wanted to talk about how to work safely. It's a big, I think, problem for people that find themselves opening psychically or having increased sensitivity. And I think it's part of the reason people shut down or they turn away. They don't want to they don't want to be part of their gift because they don't know how to regulate it. You know, when we're oversensitive like that, it can be very hard. It can be very difficult to go into crowded places, or I think there's a lot of fear associated with what's going to happen if we open too much. You know, many people who are very sensitive had difficult experiences as children. Maybe they experienced energies they didn't want to or perceive things in their family that were hard to deal with, or even attracted spirits to them that were scary. So I think one of the things we really have to do is work through levels of fear. And I would say, like, you know, almost give you like a homework assignment here. And if you're one of those people that's afraid of your psychic ability or other people's psychic ability, do a little journaling exercise to really see if you can identify what you're afraid of. Are you afraid that people will think you're crazy? That's kind of a common one. Are you afraid you're actually going to go crazy, or you are crazy? Only crazy people, you know, like it's not an unreasonable fear, because for many years, like up until really recently, if you saw dead people or talked to angels or had visions, they put you in a mental hospital. You know, like it's sort of a little joke. It's not a very good joke, but I think there's only a few letters difference between psychic and psychotic, right? So there's some real things to be afraid of here. Maybe you're afraid that other people will reject you or turn away from you. Maybe you're afraid that you're going to see something bad, or when you open, attract things, you know, like the more sensitive we are, the more we become kind of like a magnet. Some people are afraid of that. So I think that it's important, especially if you have a lot of fear, to really take a look at it and dissect it and ask yourself, is that something that you need some healing around? Is it something that you just need more information? I find this is why I like to do psychic training classes, and I'm starting a big psychic class next week. If you feel like, you know, that's for you, you can contact me. But I think one of the things that really helps is getting more information. So the more informed, the more highly trained we are, we have real knowledge, we can come out of fear, and really embrace our gifts a little bit more. So if you feel like a homework exercise, that would be your homework exercise for today, is to really consider what you're afraid of and decide, is that something you still want to be afraid of? Is there something you can do? What do you need to change that and loosen that up for you? And I also think that in order to open in a safe way, we need to really have some very good psychic hygiene. We need to have good habits around how we do this. And there are a few things that we need to do on a regular basis. We need to ground ourselves, we need to protect ourselves, we need to clear ourselves, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Because I'm an energy worker and, you know, I've been practicing and teaching Reiki for 20 years, and I teach in an energy medicine school for the past 12 years, I see things in the form of energy in the energy field, right? That's one of my just ways that I look at things. And I think it's quite useful to understand a little bit about your energy field. Like, what is it? When I say energy field, what is that? It's that energy that is ours, that continues beyond our physical body. So we have a physical body, and then our energy goes out from that. Sometimes people call it your aura. I like the word energy field because the aura is part of your energy field. And then there's also other parts. There's chakras, there's the life purpose line. There's sort of a lot going on inside your energy field. And understanding how that works with us can give us some sort of basic ideas about how to take care of ourselves when we open up psychically. So, for example, like if we're talking, one of the things that happens when you're really sensitive is the outer edge of your energy field, which is for most people about arm's length out. It's very porous for people that are sensitive, you know, empaths. So if you're an empath, that's why we call the empaths the psychic sponges. They're, this outside edge of their field is not really solid, it's spongy. Now, somebody who's non-empath, you know, sort of not an empath or less empathic, the outside edge of the energy field is more solid. It looks like fish scales, or roofing tiles has a sort of overlapping, or sometimes it looks like a grid. You know, I'll see it like a grid pattern. And when you have a solid one, we can kind of be in the world. Those are the people that sort of the world rolls off them like water off a duck's back, right? And things don't sort of get to them. But you can imagine when you're super sensitive and you have that spongy thing going on, it's much more difficult to be in the world in a way that's comfortable. You know, the flip side of that is the spongy people really make great healers. They're fabulous healers. Like we talked about yesterday, empathy is the gift of the healer. So when we do psychic protection and when we open psychically, that's one of the things we have to address. We have to strengthen this outer layer. And the other thing that can compromise this is trauma. So if you've had trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma, any kind of, especially childhood trauma, compromises the outside edge of this field. And we need to kind of fix it. So if you have trauma that you might need, again, more healing work, you need to work with a healer, you need to address the trauma, the pain and the emotions at a root level. And as we do that, we strengthen our energy field. So taking care of your energy field and this aura is pretty common sense in a way. And we can do things that strengthen our energy field and we can do things that weaken it. And what strengthens it is things like meditation, prayer, spiritual practice, fresh air, exercise, being in nature, eating well, breathing to sunshine, like these kinds of things, really help strengthen this part of us. And correspondingly, we can weaken this aspect of us by not taking care of ourselves, really eating terribly, not clean food, not having exercise, stress and lack of sleep weaken this part of the field, and especially drugs and alcohol are very compromising to our energy field. And I think it's kind of a catch-22 because a lot of times people that have this compromised energy field feel weird, they feel funky, they feel in pain, so they turn to drugs, alcohol, smoking as a way to feel better, and then it sort of damages this part of them and then they kind of feel worse. So if we live a clean, healthy, holy life, this part of us is naturally reinforced. And if we live a life that isn't sort of physically healthy, we can also weaken this. So that's just something to think about. And there's a lot of things you can do. We're going to do in a minute guided meditation to help you kind of work through all these steps. But the other two things that I wanted to talk about are grounding and clearing. So grounding is one of those terms that's sort of thrown around a lot in, spiritual world. Oh, you're not very grounded. You should be more grounded. And I had somebody say to me the other day, well, what does that mean? I don't know what it means to be grounded, right? And I think there's really three parts to it. One is to be embodied so that your consciousness is in your body. You're not disassociated. You're really in. You can feel your body. You're aware of your body. You're embodied in a particular way. And there's lots of ways we can do that. Again, like a physical practice, walking, yoga, having a healthy relationship with your body will tend to embody you. The other part of being grounded is being in the moment, in the here and now. And this is a little tricky. So it's like more mindfulness. So we're not very grounded if we're thinking, about our future or we're in the past. To be grounded, we have to be in the present moment. And then the other part of being grounded is really being connected to the earth. So that is also important. Like we are energetically connected to the planet, and we get really disconnected from that because we don't go outside. We don't, we tend to wear, this is a funny one, but we wear rubber shoes that insulate us from the energy, the frequency of the planet. We don't connect with the natural world maybe as much as we should, and so that can also compromise whether we're grounded. So there's lots of ways you can ground, and I think what's important is to find something that works for you. There's no sort of one size fits all here. We have to you'll know, like maybe you're going to go hug a tree and be outside in nature. That really works for me. Maybe you can sit on the beach. Having actual contact with the earth is a wonderful way to ground. Maybe you need to, there's some technology we can use. It's sort of funny, but there is all this earthing and grounding technology. Get a grounding mat. When I sit at my desk here in my office, I have a big river rock. It's like this big under my desk that I put my feet on when I'm writing or when I'm talking to help keep me grounded. And then, I mean, there's just other ordinary things. Sometimes I find like doing the dishes very grounding, or weeding the garden, right? That kind of thing can be very grounded, but it's important for you to find for you what works. So then, and do it every day. Really, we have to do it like with, you know, kind of discipline or like a spiritual practice. The other thing we have to do too is we have to learn how to clear our energy, because the more sensitive we are and the more we open to our sensitivities, especially for you empaths, the more likely it is that we pick up energy from other people. So I do sessions, you know, healing, psychic, and counseling. I see like 4 or 5 people a day, and I have to clear myself after every session, and especially at the end of the day, because otherwise I don't want to take that home with me, right? And when you have an encounter with somebody and you feel really drained and tired afterwards, you need to really spend some time letting go of the energy that you picked up from them. And we're going to do a clearing. I do a clearing meditation that uses the breath, because I find that handy. But there's so many other ways to do that. Sunlight can be very clearing for people. Water is this particularly good one. So if I do a lot of psychic work in one day, I tend to get in the bathtub at night, put a little salt in there, or in a shower you can do that. Water is very clearing for people. So that's a good thing to do too. And again, finding what works for you is really the most helpful thing that you can do. Some people do smudging, like, you know, like you get some sage spray and you smudge. You can use incense or sweetgrass. That's very good. And I mean, maybe it's private time alone. Meditation is always very good for these things. So that's something that I want you to think about. And for right now, we're going to do a grounding meditation that I find really powerful and helpful. So if you're sitting down, and I think that you should do, you know, you can do this every day. Actually, if you go to my website right now, lisacampion.com, I have this meditation available for free. You can just get it and do it for free. So find some place to put your feet on the ground if you can. Uncross your arms and legs. And if you want to, you can close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. So the first thing that we do is become very aware of our body. So feel your body. Take a deep breath in the top of your head. Imagine that you're breathing light in the top of your head. And the light that comes in the top of the head is very grounding. Now, on your exhale breath, you're going to breathe down your legs. So find your feet, push your feet into the floor a little bit, breathe down your legs, and make that connection to the earth. So just feel the earth. And then you're going to breathe again, right into your belly and your heart. Fill your belly and your heart with light. And then on this exhale, you're going to find the grounding cord. And that's the part of our energy field that goes down. It's like the big root of a tree. Through the chair, through the layers of the building, down, 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 into the earth. Now you're going to inhale again. Fill your whole self with light. And then on the exhale, you're going to release down the grounding cord. Anything you're holding on to that doesn't feel right, any emotions, any physical pain, you can let it go. We send it down into the earth with the hope and the wish that the earth knows what to do. The earth can compost this. And again, you're going to breathe light in. This time, you're going to direct the light to any part of your body that doesn't feel good, that's in pain, that feels dense or stressed or tense. Bring the light to that part, and again, exhale. Anything now that you've picked up from any other person, release it down the grounding cord. Like a big whoosh. And now we're going to pay attention again a little bit to the outer edge. So we grounded by connecting, we cleared by releasing with our breath. Now we're going to just pay a little bit of attention to the outer edge of the energy field to do some shielding. So just going to imagine, pretend, or visualize that you can see or feel the outer edge of that energy field. This part of our energy anatomy responds really well to our imagination. And you can imagine, pretend, or visualize that especially if it's spongy or feels torn or compromised to you, you're going to imagine something a little more solid, something like an eggshell, a crystal ball. Sometimes people think about like the tinted windows in a tinted bulletproof glass, but you do want to allow an energy that's supportive. So we're going to program this part of us, this outer edge of our energy field, to allow an energy that's supportive to us, energy that feels good, and non-supportive energy is going to stay on the other side. And nothing can cross our boundary without our permission. You're in charge. You're the boss of your own energy field. And notice how that feels when you do that. You might take just another deep breath, breathing light in and using that light to bring energy to any part of you that needs it, and releasing down the grounding cord again one last time. And now you're going to begin to come back to your room, come back to the body, feel yourself in the chair, wiggle your fingers and toes, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. So I hope you find that helpful and practice it. If you want this meditation, you can just go to my website and get it there. It's available for free. And tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about empaths, who the empaths are, what that means, and what it's for, what it's all about. So see you tomorrow and we're going to talk about empaths. I hope you have a really great grounded day now. Bye.